Well, I think a lot of these stand-up comedians now, they pay people to write for them, right? Is that pretty much how it's done?
I think there's a lot less of that than there was historically.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that, in the 60s, 70s. Obviously, back in vaudeville days, they all just stole from each other.
Mm-hmm.
But ever since kind of the Sam Kinison, days where everyone kind of had to have their own thing, that defining thing about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly after the Carlos Mencia stuff with Joe Rogan,
Yes, I was going to mention that one. He got pissed off.
Yeah, it's really important that you at least write most of your act. You can get taglines from people, and Jay Moore famously had his wife write all the jokes on one of his specials, which bold take, but there's no right or wrong way to do it. If you want to work as a joke writer, I mean, it's a dream gig. If you're doing a Tonight Show or a monologue based thing, it's impossible to do those all by yourself every night. So obviously there's a writing staff.
Absolutely.
But no, I don't usually take other people's jokes or work with other people that way.
I could see that you wouldn't do that. You seem to have more.
He's a stand-up guy.
Yeah, you're a stand-up guy. Pete, you mentioned vaudeville. Are you a Mel Brooks fan?
Love Mel Brooks.
Okay,
Huge
great.
fan.
Now, let me tell you my favorite Mel Brooks movie, and I hope it's yours, or at least in your top 3. High Anxiety.
I do like, that's the Hitchcock one, right?
He doesn't even know.
You know what? I got put my my parents love Mel Brooks, and they were trying to have me watch this movie for a while. I just watched it for the first time like a year ago, and I fucking loved it. So I don't know. It sounds like it might. No. Is that young? No. I don't know. I don't know.
You're all over the place.
Sure
History of the World Part 1. That's a good one.
That's a great one. I mean, Spaceballs has a special place in my heart, just because I saw it at the right age.
Right, where that was on our prime.
Yeah, and I mean,
nice
Chappelle in Men in Tights was fantastic. But I think Blazing Saddles is the real winner for me, though, on best Mel Brooks movie, because as ruthless as it is, it's just all the jokes are so timed perfectly that while you're still reacting to one, you're into the next one.
I don't even know if I've ever watched Blazing Saddles, but I've always heard.
Are you serious?
Obviously. I don't know. History of the World I watched.
You sure? Because I hit you a lot of lines from that. You don't seem to even know what that is.
It's been a long time.
And gone.
The companion one to that, it isn't Mel Brooks, but a funny thing happened on the way to the forum.
Yep.
If you like History of the World, is a great companion movie.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that line.
Have you ever heard, or the ending of History of the World too is one of the best, because he actually fulfilled it. He said next will be Jews in Space and Hitler on Ice, and his next 2 movies were Spaceballs and The Producers.
Yeah, that's funny.
I didn't even see that one. I didn't even. Wow. Now it hit me. Okay, good call.
I didn't care for The Producers, but I really did care for High Anxiety a lot. I thought that was nonstop, right up my alley, the type of humor that I love, and it was the absurdity, which Josh, I love the absurdity.
Well, so much to where you actually talked about vaudeville. I thought you were going to talk about our 3 boys. Well, actually 4 boys, if you want to get into it.
Oh, the Stooges. Are you a fan of the Stooges, Pete?
I love the Stooges. I mean, New Year's growing up, me and my dad would watch that instead of the ball drop, the marathon on, what is it, A&E?
Yeah, they had a couple of them because they're local stations too. I know, like 56 or whatever had it going on, but A&E had their thing too. But absolutely.
Josh, do you want to tell?
Stooges are timeless.
The Stooges will forever be timeless. Josh, do you want to tell Pete the story of how we met? Actually?
Absolutely. The Stooges actually are responsible for bringing Adam and I together because, we all work at the same place. So I came in one day. I'd been there for some time, but my cubicle is directly in front of his, and you couldn't see each other back in those days. You had this, the walls and everything. So he's in front of me, and he comes up with a line, and the line was, Adam, you go ahead and I'll finish it.
Hot dog. What was that?
Oh my God.
Really?
When it comes to cooking, cooking.
That's what I was going to say. Hot dog. When it comes to cooking,
I'm the cat's meow, which of course was from the episode.
The most synonymous, one of the most synonymous episodes in Stooges history, only because it was always available at every store you went to.
Right. There's 4 of those, 3 or 4 of those.
There was 3 or 4 of them, and they were always together in a set. Do you know which episode we're talking about, Pete? This is a classic line from a classic episode.
I know I'm trying. I'm the worst at remembering episode names, but
Think
Well,
of Mo, Larry, and Shemp doing cooking.
wow, your favorite line comes from a Shemp one.
Believe it or
You
not,
guys really are fans.
I love Shemp. I always love Shemp. Hey Mo.
You love that one. You always love the shaving, the Shemp shaving.
Have you seen the COVID masks that do spread out with Mo hitting the two guys, Mo
No,
and or
I
Curly
have
and Larry
not.
out?
I'll have to
That's
check those
cool.
out. I'll have to check those out. Pete, do me a favor. Right behind you, before we get into that, I see some sort of hawk.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Please explain.
That's from the old alma mater, Roger Williams alum.
There you go.
I stole it from my junior year dorm room when I was going to study abroad. And a kid I didn't like from high school who was moving into my room ended up getting charged for it. So it was a double win.
And now
Oh,
he
wow.
knows. He's watching this
that.
right now.
Oh, I
Congratulations.
ended up
Please
having to live
return
with
the
him when
flag.
I moved back. So he's known for a long time.
The truth
I hung
came
it
out.
up. I hung it up in our senior year dorm room, and he went, "Hey, I think I got charged for that." And I was like, "So?" And he's like, "Well, I want to keep it." And I was like, "You can't." So,
Wow. Impressive.
Nice.
yeah. But yeah, on the Stooges, my favorite Stooges bit is the sight gag where Curly says, "I can't read it without my glasses," and then he puts on his glasses, and they say, "Okay, read the card," and he goes, "What card?"
They were always good like that. I mean, I don't know. We could go through it with 30 or 40 different lines that just are just classic stuff. So, and I think the Stooges, when I were talking about them, they're kind of dying. I don't think the youngsters of today are as big on the Stooges as maybe generations previous. Do you disagree, Adam? Because you're making a face.
Well, probably not. But don't forget, they did make a Stooges movie about what, 5 years ago?
That was a dumb, stupid.
I get it. I never even saw it, but at least they did that, and this is still the modern time, right? Like 5 years ago, and like
right,
Yeah, Farley Brothers too.
exactly. And there's somebody who could appreciate the Stooges. If it was a younger director or something like that, then I'd say, hey, maybe. But the Farley brothers are they're all kind of our age. So,
And I thought the same thing when they decided to make a movie out of Inspector Gadget. I said, nobody's going to go see this. And it was huge. It was a huge movie. I couldn't believe it. I was like,
I don't even care enough to know if it was a huge movie or not. The fact that you know that, I just want to shake my head.
I never watched it. I didn't see it, but I was interested because I said, I had a theory. No one's going to go see this movie. What a waste.
Was French Stewart Inspector Gadget?
That was Matthew Broderick, right?
Matthew Broderick. Yeah.
Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like little Matt being Inspector Gadget, his hands go Gadget arm, and it goes like this. It goes like.
And by the way, Pete, did you hear what he called him? Little Matt.
Yeah.
He's very aggressive.
Oh, he's small too.
He's a big size shamer.
We're all
absolutely.
Small. We're not. None of us are tall.
Now he's like, you're not listening to me. You're not in a club. You're not welcome in a club. So stay the fuck out. Excuse me.
Hey, Jesus! I got to
edit. Must be this short to ride this ride, man.
We're used to rejection. So what the hell?
God, you guys should do some midget wrestling then. Maybe next. Maybe I could film that. We'll do the announcing.
We'll
do the play-by-play midget wrestling.
You probably would enjoy that.
Since you're so short, apparently. Yeah. You're real short.
Just don't toss me.
Oh God, like Beetlejuice, dwarf tossing. That'd be fun. Dwarf tossing.
Again, you said Beetlejuice, I'm thinking of the movie, and you're going back to Whack Pack.
I'm thinking of Beetlejuice, the old days.
Yeah, the old days.
With Hank, the angry, drunken.
Anyways, Pete, so I know we're in these new times with COVID and obviously getting out there. You kind of alluded to a little earlier. So are you still going out and doing any stand-up?
Not a lot. Rhode Island had a pretty good scene trying to maintain, but I think they just recently got put in some more lockdown restrictions that might make it harder. Bars were trying with the outdoor stuff, but Massachusetts has been so strict, there really isn't anything happening. But up in New Hampshire, they've been a little more lenient. So I've been running a show since we came back in June after 3 months off. Small, socially distanced, we went from kind of selling out every month to now we've got maybe 6 tables with people on them. So,
intimate comedic affair, huh?
I'm sorry?
Intimate setting for
comedy? Yep. Yeah. Some are just private shows where only one couple shows up, but it's enough, just to maintain and keep it going. So once we get to the other side of this, because a lot of venues are going under around Boston. Improv Boston, which I mentioned before, where I started out, just lost their building. Great Scott in Alston, which had a great show called The Gas. They went under as well due to COVID, and all across the country, the comedy clubs are just folding because everything's gone virtual.
It's sad because I think we need, and even now we need comedy, right? Because you go out and you go to a show and you laugh and you enjoy yourself, And now without that being there, it's difficult. So now we have to look to shows like this, unfortunately, to try to squeeze a laugh out of somebody.
It's probably not going to
happen.
Yeah, I think this is where you're seeing a lot of comics are pivoting. If they didn't already have a podcast, a lot of them are starting them. And there's a lot of people. I have some friends who've been really getting into like TikTok and just other various social media stuff to keep producing, keep getting their name out there, because there were careers that were just getting started that'll never recover from this last year. A friend of mine was supposed to be in Boston Calling. He finally kind of made it with that. He quit his day job. He was hitting the road to tour, and then COVID struck, and he was staying with his in-laws. So
now who's laughing?
Not him.
Not him.
Not me. Not him. What about you must have done some all right, you've either written a joke or it sounds like you've done more hosting, but since COVID has started, have you come up with any COVID jokes that are funny that have gone well?
I haven't done a lot of COVID. I've been writing, mostly about the fact that your world shrinks to whether or not the dog is shit today or not, and I got engaged right before COVID. So I have a lot of stuff about, what's happened to our relationship since COVID, just being around each other and having no stories left. But honestly, the joke I've liked the most, that was my opener for a couple weeks, was just, have we reached the point of quarantine where I can tell you, or I can wish the guy in the car in front of me gets COVID? But beyond that, it's
that's true. You could.
It's kind of a hard situation because you don't know if someone in the audience has lost family, or
point.
Plus the bars are still trying to recover. So I've been using my show as kind of an escape. I've been booking people that I know can perform even with the reduced groups, because the people there want to kind of break away from the everyday craziness of lockdown. They want that Tiger King, just shut your brain off and escape for a couple hours kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then in the past 5 years, Pete, and maybe even before, but doing comedy, going to comedy clubs and shows, have you ever seen two comics on stage at the same time feeding off each other?
Yeah.
How did that go over?
Varied effect. When I was running a show back in Newton, when I was about a year into comedy, I had two comics come in for my friend's open mic at the same bar earlier in the week, and there was only one spot left, so they went up together and kind of did a duo act, and I thought it was great. I was also very drunk, and I booked them for my show the following Monday, and didn't realize they didn't actually have an act together. And but they wanted the booking and the $40 it paid, so they went up and bombed pretty hard, and I kind of owed them a big apology because I set them up for failure. But
they set themselves up as well. You're not fully responsible. I mean,
well, yeah, but you don't. Anyone who wants to be a comic will pretty much take any booking they're offered. Stage time is more valuable than anything else. So
I guess that makes sense.
Well, Pete, is there a type of comedy? Hold on. Excuse me, because I've got a burning question.
Oh, okay. Burning.
Pete, is there a type of comedy that you just don't like? I mean, whether it be Carrot Top and his props, or someone goes up with a guitar and sing. I mean, or do you just appreciate all comedy types? Yeah, watermelons.
I tend to appreciate, especially with live comedy, I like people who take risks, put themselves out there, even if it's something weird or not really, something I would have necessarily gone out to see. But the thing I really don't like is this safe comedy that's kind of been coming up the last couple of years, where you've got to say all the appropriate words, and you can't be mean to anyone. And because, like I said, the comics I started out liking, and I still like, the George Carlins of the world, were just screaming at the world around them. And I think that's kind of the job of comics. I'm a very clean comic traditionally, and I don't, I'm probably the least likely to ruffle feathers on most shows I'm on, but I really respect the people that go out and take risks, and I try to as much as it fits into what I do.
Yeah, can you imagine a PC Andrew Dice Clay?
Yeah, I mean,
Hubbard.
Yeah, it's and I understand that there are people have different sensibilities and different outrages, but I've never understood going and getting offended at what somebody said at a comedy show. It feels like you're kind of missing the point.
Fuck? Well, yeah, to your point, Pete. I mean, I know that's the problem with today. We all know this, that everything's being censored. Everyone's easily offended. I mean, it doesn't even need to be said. It's ridiculous that this kind of mentality would affect the comedy genre. I mean, it makes no sense. That should be the untouchable side of where people do not get offended and sensitive over.
Well, it makes sense. It's the culture, man. The culture is moved away to this PC whole kind of world. So why not bring some comedians in or that part of that? And it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I like when comics take risks, but you shouldn't be mean about it. Like the difference between, say, a Michael Richards, what he did he was going at a specific person in a way that is socially, we all agree, is abhorrent, and he wasn't trying to be funny anymore. He was just trying to be mean. Whereas like a Daniel Tosh, when he says something that most people, if you said it anywhere else, it would be this big offensive moment. But because he's trying to find that joke, and South Park said it, either everything's funny or nothing is. So like topics shouldn't be off limits. It's just how you present them.
Well, yeah, not in a Michael Richards way, but just a regular. I'm doing stand up. I'm trying to be funny here. Why can I talk about this and that? Why are you getting affected by my dialogue?
Exactly. I mean, if there was a trend for a while, a couple of years ago, where a lot of the newer, younger comics, the guys who were, in their 20s, were making 9/11 jokes because they thought that would be edgy. They didn't really have a good bit. They weren't even old enough to really understand, what it was like when it happened. And they would get up and they would make these comments or these jokes, thinking that it would like make them, a Daniel Tosh type. And in reality, it just would turn off audiences. And then they'd wonder why the rest of their set didn't work. And it's like, well, because you weren't sensitive to what the event actually was. But that being said, Pete Davidson, whose dad died in 9/11, has amazing 9/11 jokes. So it's all about finding the right context for everything.
Well, I think if you have someone that unfortunately did die in 9/11, you can talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I'm Jewish. I could talk about Jewish people.
Yeah.
And make it funny, of course. I mean, the goal is to make it funny.
Mel Brooks' his entire career is making jokes about his Jewish heritage.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you get a pass. You're able to, if you long, you nail it or whatever. It's funny. Like, it shouldn't be off limits. Speaking of which, doesn't Daniel Tosh have writers?
For his show, I doubt he does for his actual act.
He's got a good delivery though. So I mean, he's fun. I think he's funny.
And he's somebody who perfectly found his voice. There's a lot of comics who try to be that shocking guy, but it comes across as fraudulent, or they just can't quite get there. But with somebody like Tosh, the delivery is so tight, the writing is so tight. It doesn't matter what he's saying, you're along for the ride.
Yeah, it's good. It's very watchable.
That's kind of like my favorite comedian, Louis C.K. I know he's kind of coming out of a little dark time right now, but he's getting back on the horse. But he was very much in your face. And I think the first time we flipped him on, he was talking about how his kids are assholes, and where they're 5 and 3, and it was just funny, and it was edgy because it was you speaking about a truth.
That is funny. It's all about
it was everyday things you could relate to, taken to their extremist possible place.
Good stuff. So what do you have coming up again, Pete? You got the show in New Hampshire. Is this a weekly thing or a monthly thing?
Saturday the 5th, we have our next show up in Bristol, New Hampshire, Kathleen's Irish Pub. If anyone's in town, show starts at 7. Got an amazing lineup.
They can just walk up if they want and buy tickets right then and there.
Yep. The bar is a great system where they just, they add it to your tab. It's just a $5 ticket, real simple, but, great stage, great room, everything's social distance, and we're trying to make everyone safe but have a good time.
Nice.
And then just getting up wherever is available, whether it be, podcasts like this, Zoom, or, going down to Rhode Island or Maine where they're still able to perform.
Yeah.
But,
well, you
it's
heard it
hard
here,
right now. There's
folks.
not a lot to plug.
December
Absolutely.
5th, Little P will be in the woods of New Hampshire.
Bristol, north of the
Comedy
wall.
Cottage.
We'll have the link in the description now below, folks. If you're in the area, you're up here in New
Yes.
Hampshire with me, we'd love to. I'm sure Pete would love to have you stop on by.
Josh, will you be able to make it? You're in New Hampshire. I would
Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to make it.
Why?
Well,
can't
my
you
wife
make
kind of
it?
runs. She runs my life right now, and
Oh,
I
I
have to get the okay through her.
Blaming
break
it
free.
on the wife.
Damn straight. And Pete, pretty soon, I heard you. Obviously, you're just engaged, so get ready.
Nice
So what's
segue.
going to go on with your wedding? Do you guys have a date yet?
We do. We're hoping things are settled enough in June to, go with it. We found a nice couple up in Maine that doesn't believe COVID is real. So we're optimistic that will help us.
Come on.
Yeah. Which is it's been a strange experience trying to plan a wedding through it. Most of our friends have postponed to next year. So it's kind of a crazy experience, but, optimistic.
Well, there you have it, folks. We hope you enjoy the time with little Pete here. We'll call him little Pete for now.
Oh, there you go with the little
Look
P.
up. I can do it because he's one of my people.
Because you're short as well. You're right.
Exactly.
I did say
we
you're
just
allowed.
spoke about this. I can talk
It's
about
okay
it.
when we
Yes.
say it.
That's right. That's our word.
That's true. I digress.
December 5th up in Bristol, New Hampshire. Oh,
Kathleen's Irish Pub.
Irish Pub. Make sure to be there, folks. We hope to see you soon, and we hope you enjoyed today. We're going to be having more shows like this going forward. And before we go ahead and push off, do you have anything last to say?
Well, I hope Pete enjoyed the first opportunity here with us, and maybe he would recommend us for some other comics to do some interviews and whatnot.
I think I was going to. He said before the show, but I think now that he's seen the show, he's
Yeah,
like, I'm sorry, they're all busy.
Yeah, is that
I know some top rate guys and girls that would love to be on your show, so I'm happy to make the recommendation.
Oh my God. All right. So just give it to him straight. We didn't dive too deep into any uncharted waters, right? We kind of kept it just a little fun, a little
And it
light.
wasn't so abusive.
Lively and fun.
I didn't get really as
You
aggressive.
chomped at the bit. He really wanted to do something bad, I think.
I like to just take it wherever, you know what I mean? Like obviously sometimes at the expense of others, but feel free to do the same to me. If it's funny, I'll laugh. I don't care if it's like you're saying something about me, but it sounds funny. I'm game. Right, Josh?
Yeah, absolutely. But sometimes you just don't stop.
No, I like to keep going.
Yeah, you keep
Keep
on pushing,
going.
and then you piss somebody off. So whatever. We're gonna talk about that later.
I've never done that ever. So
No, never.
Sounds like you guys are made for comedy.
I've never gotten into a fight
Made
off
for
stage.
something.
From someone heckling me.
And we had a fight in the mall, though. I remember that. I went to walk
Well,
away
one
from
time
you.
Josh got almost beat up in a moving car.
Okay, we don't need to talk about that.
and then
This isn't what Josh did. This
the
is about Pete
grandparents.
and
Pete's
comedy.
already
See,
leaving.
there you go. He's gone. Like, I'm
He's
out.
leaving. He already muted.
You pissed him off. You went off script, and now it's all done. Now he's coming back twice as much fun.
Double Pete. Look at that. It's
Yeah,
double
it's-
Pete, ladies and gentlemen.
Crashed on me.
No worries, buddy. Hey, we will catch up with you soon, and thanks
thank
again
you,
very
Pete.
much.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, thanks very much
Thanks
for
for having
joining
me.
Broken Heads. Thanks again, Pete. Adam.
Thank you,
It was good
Pete.
talking to you, pal.
Thank
we'll
you,
see you guys
Josh.
soon.
All right. See ya.
Hi,
Stay
yo,
broken.
husky ho.